try to block every shot. And I'm gonna be physical with you the whole game. You know Stu gonna be physical with you. When you think of the Pistons, you think it's just hard work and just gritty basketball. That's just the identity you gotta have when you put on that jersey.
I'm not your average breed of King 9. Not a good dog, I'm bad boy for life. I set the tone, don't care about no tick. Let it be known, I get my respect. Come in the lane and see I don't bluff. If you retaliate, that's on ya. Talking pundits, I hear your shade. Talking that shop, you must want this way. Look at dog palm, mess around, find out, Look at dog palm, mess around, find out, For some barbecue sauce, boy, you better crop a hill, cause I'm like that. When you're real for some barbecue sauce, boy, you better crop a hill, cause I'm like that. Mess around, find out. DJ Basketball. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Downtown Do Show. It is currently 9:50 and the game has just ended. And this was a very, very entertaining game to watch. Man, what's going on, Carl? Yeah, man. This team tried to murder us, man. Tried to take our heads off, man. Tried to knock our jaws out. It was insane. But you know what? We got a dog pound over here. This is what we used to. It's just fine. If y'all want to play like that, we can play just like that. You know, Marcus Smart think he a dog, whatever. Your time has come. Your time has come and passed, bro. It's time to move out the way. Nikki, what's going on, bro? Intense game for sure. Frank, what's going on? Let's get that 4th seed. Deuce, I know you're tired of MR, but the Magic, I don't understand that one. Fill me in on that. I'm not sure what that one is. Wizards tried to get cute. Glad we took care of business. We got it. Exactly, Zach. Exactly. We have a tough team. Magic number. All right. So let's get to it, man. Yeah, this was a very entertaining game. Very entertaining game. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, this was it was some off the court stuff. Not off the court, but not part of the game that was entertaining. Stuff that happened after the whistle, more likely. So, you know, the Pistons, they won tonight. They got their second straight win. They beat the Wizards tonight. What was the final score from tonight's game? 123 to 103, right? Yeah, it was a good game. Definitely a good game. It shouldn't have been as close as it was, but this game here moves the Pistons to 37-29 on the season, which is 8 games over 500, which ties their season high. And like I said, this was a game the Pistons were supposed to win, right? You come in back at home, take care of business, stack wins, keep it moving, right? They got another one against the Wizards coming up on Thursday. But, you know, this this game came and went, but not without fireworks. So there were a few incidents that took place. I think it was 4. I think there were 4 total altercations or confrontations or whatever you want to call it that took place tonight. And like I mentioned, there was a lot of fireworks. We'll get to that later. But as far as the game itself, let's start there. So initial thoughts. The Pistons, I was hoping the Pistons were going to come into this game just firing, just swinging. Still playing smart, but just looking to put this team away early. Get your guys some rest, all that stuff, right? Just put this team away. And unfortunately, they did not do what we always talk about, and that is hitting first, right? They came out the gate disappointingly slow. They looked like a young team that mentally was not prepared for this game. They looked like mentally they weren't into the game to start. It looked like they just got off a tough road trip, which I understand, right? But you had a day of rest in between, you know, and you're back at home now, back in your own beds, eating home cooked meals and stuff like that. So I was just hoping to see a rejuvenated Pistons team after that long stretch, and I expected them to come out of the gate swinging. And you really didn't see that. They didn't shoot well in their defense. They shot 2 for 10, so shots weren't falling, but that affected their intensity on the defensive end of the floor. You could see it. They just were not locked in early. And of course, coach had to call timeout. You know, I dictate a good start by who calls timeout first. That's what I mean when I say good starts. Do you hit first? Do you set the tone early? And the Pistons again had to call the first time out. So that was a little bit disappointing for me. I always focus on four quarters, as you guys know, but most importantly, hitting first. And the Wizards, who played in a back-to-back last night, they looked like the team that had more energy. And that was disappointing. And then things got a little chippy. And that's, let's just jump right into the box scores and talk about what happened when it happened with each individual player. So let's start with Cade. So Cade had 27 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds, almost had a triple-double again, 1 steal, only 3 turnovers. That's a good 3-to-1 ratio, better than. 11 for 23 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, 4 of 5 from the free throw line, in 32 minutes. Let's start there. 32 minutes. It's a great number. I know it's the Wizards, and I know we should have blew them out earlier, but, they definitely took care of business. Definitely was something that, sometimes it goes like this. Sometimes it just happens like that, where you want to see your team every single game come out and perform the way you want to see them play. It just doesn't always go that way, But, Cade definitely was able to rest. 32 minutes is still a great number. I think that was team high. Yeah, team high. So that's good that most of the starters got a chance to relax for most of the game. And we got our bench guys, got them some good minutes, and they really contributed to this game as well. We'll get to that later. But Cade, man, yeah. He shot it pretty well. He didn't really get it going from 3. But once again, the 10 assists to 3 turnovers is great, right? That's great. Plus 16 on the night. Couldn't get it going from 3. That's okay. I'm not worried about that. The rest of his game was there. He was in his bag, man. And it's crazy because he's still not really getting a fair whistle. At least I feel like. He's still not getting a fair whistle. He's getting a better whistle, but it's still not all-star worthy as far as I'm concerned. There's still a lot of calls that I've seen most guys who are stars get, and he just consistently does not get them. It's not as bad as it was, because for a while it was just ridiculous. It was atrocious. Which is like, how do you not call it? I heard it, so I know you saw it. And you can see that he really is trying his best not to go off on the refs. Like, you see him pregame, walking up to the refs and, greeting them and being respectful, just trying to create a good reputation for himself as far as, he's not just always gonna cry just to cry. And he's not gonna get in your face. He's not gonna disrespect you. He's trying to develop that rapport with the refs, not relationship, but rapport with them so they know who he is, right? And sometimes you see that kind of, affect the whistle in a good way. Unfortunately, it's not happening with him. He's not getting a fair whistle at all. You would think that he complains every single call, but he's not getting a fair whistle still. But he's still been able to play through and get off. And then we get to our first incident of the night. And I believe the first one started with him and Keontae George. I think he was rookie this year. And on a jump ball, and if you watched earlier in the game, there was some physicality leading up to that play. And at this point, it kind of just boiled over with he and Keontae George they were jockeying for position, on a jump ball, normal. And Cade kind of, got into him a little bit, but I guess Keontae George didn't like it, so he kind of pushed him. And so Cade kind of pushed him back. And immediately after that, Chris Middleton comes out of nowhere, enters stage left, and tries to grab Cade. And Cade grabs his wrist as he tries to grab him. He grabs his wrist and disables him from trying to grab him. It was actually kind of funny. And then JD came over and pushed Chris Middleton out of the way. And then all you see, once again, out of nowhere, out of left field, is Jordan Poole coming over and pushing JD. And in this moment, when I saw how JD reacted, because he restrained himself. And he paused and he pointed at him. And when that happened, I just said to myself, thank you, Draymond Green. Thank you, Draymond Green. We all learned from Draymond's mistake, right? We all know what happened with him and Jordan Poole and how he just regretted making that decision, but he felt like he was being provoked, and provoked at a bad time in his life. He was just being provoked, and there was no chill, there was no code being displayed by Jordan Poole, all these different things. And Draymond says even with that, he regrets it. He regrets doing what he did because it affected the chemistry of the whole team. And so even though that's that same team, my point is that I think when JD saw who it was, because when he first pushed JD turned and immediately started walking to whoever it was. And then when he realized it was Jordan Poole who was backing up, JD kind of smiled, you know what? Nah, I'm not about, I've seen this before. I know this face. I know what this face does. I know who he is. And he kind of gained his composure and said, you know what? Okay, I got you, but you better be careful. So it was good to see him restrain himself. because I was for a second hoping he was not going to do something stupid. I was hoping he wasn't going to do something stupid. He didn't. He kept it. He kept his motion in check, and that was that. But that was the initial incident that kind of sparked everything else that took place. And it really could have escalated and been much worse. I'm glad it wasn't. But you could see with that altercation, you could see Cade was hot. He was irritated because you don't see him often lose his composure, and he did in this moment. When the ref tried to get in between him and Middleton, Cade immediately like pushed the ref off, like get off me, like two times. Pushed him. He tried to get back. He pushed him off again, and the ref didn't even look at him. The ref didn't tee him up. He just walked away. And honestly, guys, like even though that happened, it kind of messed the flow of the game and everything like that. But to that point, the Pistons really didn't have any flow, and I think that altercation was the best thing that could happen to the Pistons. It was the best thing that could happen to them because they were sleepwalking. They were looking like they knew they were playing the Wizards. They were looking like they knew this is going to be a game where they can coast. We just got back home. We'll be able to will ourselves to a win. We'll be able to turn it on and get it up. That's kind of what it felt like early in this game. As if they were just sleepwalking and just not having a sense of urgency that we always talk about. They didn't have that. They weren't shooting it well, but they also didn't have the urgency either. So I think that altercation really woke them up. Really woke them up. Like, okay, we're gonna beat y'all now. Like, that's how y'all coming? Okay, fine. Y'all, whatever. So I like to see that. I love to see that because it showed that once they turned it on, once they get to who they are, they're pretty hard to beat. And as a side note with Cade, man, the chemistry with him and JD is special to watch how it's growing. It's special to watch. Out of that pick and roll, it was just really, really impressive, man. It went from, you think about their progression. Think about the pick and roll from game one, from the beginning of the season with Cade and JD. Think about where it is now and where it came from. Because early in the season, the pick and roll was not pretty. If you guys remember, the pick and roll with Cade and JD was not pretty early in the season. It was a work in progress for sure. You would see oftentimes just, Cade not giving JD enough time to set on the screen, or JD planting too late in getting offensive fouls, right? Not even being able to get a shot on goal. We saw that 2 or 3 times a game on a regular with JD early in the season, right? That was a big part of why he was always in foul trouble early in the season. And then it got to a point where he wasn't getting offensive fouls, but he also wasn't setting screens either. He was setting real weak screens because he was afraid to get caught for an offensive foul. You go from that to now this. It just shows the work they put in. It shows the work they put in. It shows the reps that they've been able to get in together in practice, in games, having conversations with each other off the court about it. Just all the different things that go into what takes time. Like we always talk about, right? That's why time is so important and just giving these guys a chance to be able to gel. So I love what I'm seeing from the pick and roll, man. It's getting hard to stop now for teams, because Cade knows how to manipulate the defense through it. He makes the right decision out of it. And JD, when he's setting good screens the way he is and rolling to the hoop, it's hard to stop. It's hard to stop. And when Cade is throwing look away lobs, did you guys see that look away lob that he threw to JD? Normally we see Cade like throwing look away passes in the corner or something like that, but now he's just throwing one-handed look away lobs. And when he's doing that, man, it's raps. I've said it before, man. Like when he's doing that, that just shows you that he's comfortable. It shows you that he's really processing the defense well and what it's doing and what it's about to do. He already knows where he's going to go with the pass. That's why he's able to do the look away. If he didn't know where he was going, you wouldn't see him doing this. He's processing and understand. He's seen the defense enough times. He's seen what it looks like. He sees it when he can get it through. He sees when it should be a skip pass. He understands now. He understands what to do in situations based on who he's playing against and who's in the pick and roll with him. So now he's just out there having fun. He's just having fun. Carl said it best. Stafford vibes. Exactly, bro. Exactly. I know some people in here who's not Stafford fans for different reasons, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Stafford was able to do that. And it's even crazier in football to do that. But just looking one way and throwing the other. That's what Cade is doing now in the pick and roll with JD. And JD is throwing down everything. His head is near the rim. Like, it's ridiculous. Having that kind of a combo with Cade, who's so big and tall. Like, think about how good Chris Paul was in the pick and roll with DeAndre Jordan, who was similar in stature to Jalen Duren, right? Cade is 6'7". Chris Paul is 6 feet with shoes on. So when you're able to get the guy on your hip, it's going to be even harder to get back in front with a bigger guy like Cade. Cade can get so many more lobs through now because he has 7 more inches to work with as far as his height, right? He can see over the defense. He's just going to be, I think he's going to be at least as good as Chris Paul is in pick and roll. Not saying a lot, but I truly believe he's going to be at least as good because he already has the measurables. He already has a size, right? You see he's processing now. He's got the ability to keep his guy behind him, right? You be able to see how he's making the right decisions out of it. And so he has that advantage already. So once he gets the reps that Chris Paul has had, along to go along with him being 6'7" already, and along with him knowing how to keep his body in front, like, I'm telling y'all, man, he's going to be unstoppable. He's going to be unstoppable. It's crazy, man. This is year 1 with the right system, with shooters around him, with a coach who cares, like with consistency. This is year 1 of that. This is year 1 with a solid team. And we're seeing already what he's doing, not even a full season with his teammates yet. They're still learning each other. It's insane. Yeah, 2-3 years from now, man, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. But Cade is balling right now. He's balling right now. He didn't play a perfect game. Had a few passes here when there was lazy, whatever. But 10-3, I'll take that all day long. 10 assists, three turnovers. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm taking that. To go with 27, 10, and 8. Like, yeah, all day long, bro. Cade is absolutely balling right now. All NBA player. All NBA player. 37 dubs, Johnny. Yes, sir, Doug. Cade is very special. Very much so. A rookie Penny. Ooh, Devin. Man. Okay. So real quick, and we'll get to the game. After Isaiah Thomas, Penny Hardaway is my favorite player ever. So for you to say that, I can relate to it because I've watched all of his film. All of it. Even when he was with Miami, later when he's about to retire, like, I see a lot of the same things, bro. He's not quite as athletic as Penny was, because Penny was an athlete. He could get up and down the floor like this, and his hops were ridiculous, dunking on Patrick Ewing and David Robinson and everybody, right? So, but he does have that ability, that stature, the size, the vision, the passing ability, being elite, and being able to get a bucket whenever you want, post game, shoot it from like all 3 levels. Like, yeah. Devin, that is a very good comparison. I thought about that myself. All right. So now let's go ahead and get back. Oh, one more. I wonder what Dave Bing thinks of KD. Ooh, I ain't touching that one. But I won't say you're wrong. I won't say you're wrong. For reference, those who don't know, Dave Bing said he didn't. I'm not quoting him, but he's paraphrasing. I'm basically saying what did he say? He said that he thought that Cade could not be a number 1 on a winning team, or the guy, or the superstar, something to that effect. That he's not the guy, basically. That he needs another guy to be that guy, and he's basically a number 2. That was what was said. So don't really think that's the case, Mr. Bing. I got a ton of respect for you, bro. Ton of respect for you, sir. I ain't gonna say bro, sir. But I think you missed on that one. And I've been saying that. I said since Oklahoma State, since not since Bowie. I kind of knew about him from Bowie because his brother was playing at SMU during that time. But I knew since my vert, like, he's a number 1. He's that guy. He's that dude. He's that good. Okay, Carl, Cade Cunningham is not the kind of player you build it. Appreciate you, brother. That's exactly what he said. See, Carl is on it, y'all. This is why he's my boy. He does it all. All right, so that's basically what Dave Bing said. And, I think Cade has proven a lot of people wrong. Not even just Mr. Bing, but a lot of people, that he is that dude. All right, let's get back to the box score. Yes, he does, Doug. Anybody? Already. That wasn't one to build around. That he wasn't. Thank you, Emperor. I appreciate you, bro. All right, let's get back, guys. Let's get to our next starter. On Cade, in a nutshell, he's a monster. Let's get to Asar Thompson, guys. Let's start with Asar, man. All right, first things first. Asar took a crazy blow to the chin, to the jaw area. And it looked like it really could have been serious. I'm glad it wasn't, but it looked like it could have really been bad. I thought he may have really I was hoping he didn't break his jaw, but it didn't look good. But thankfully, he was okay. He was able to get up and keep playing. But what happened with that one? That was one of the I think 3 or 4 altercations that happened. But with Asar, basically what happened, and I don't know if it was dirty. It looked like it was dirty to me. It looked like it was, I'll just say intentional. I won't say he was trying to break his jaw, but it looked like he was trying to hit him. And the player's name is Rashawn Holmes. And he grabbed the board, and Asar was trying to get the ball, and he was already flailing like this with his elbows, like Karl Malone style, like this, which I hate. I hate when players do that. That's so dangerous. But so he saw Asar, and Asar tried to strip it. And he hit the ball and didn't knock it away, but he almost knocked it free, but he held on to it. Rashawn Holmes held on to it. And after that you could really see that Rashawn Holmes took exception to that. He didn't like it. And guys don't like that. Guys, FYI, bigs don't like that. They don't like it. They take exception to you when you try to take the ball from them after they rebounded it. They want you they feel like you're a little fly, a little mosquito, get out of here. And by any means necessary, they'll try to get you out of there. That's what Karl Malone used to always do that. He would go like this and hit guys in the face and all kind of crazy stuff, right? And that's what happened. I think had Asar not swiped again, he wouldn't have swung like that at him again. So I think it was intentional. I've seen that so many times over the decades. I think that was intentional. And because of that, he got ejected. They went to go review it, the review booth, and they said that, it was basically, it was excessive and it wasn't a basketball play. Sometimes you can get a flagrant 1 if it's, a hard foul, but it's still a basketball play if you're not trying to hurt anybody. But flagrant 2 is you're trying to do some damage. And that's what they gave him. That's what he should have got, justifiably so. So I'm just glad that Asar was okay, because it could have been a lot worse. As far as this game, he didn't look to be in sync. He would make a play here or there, and then it was just kind of he didn't really, I don't know, he was just kind of invisible a little bit tonight. As far as the stats, he had 8 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 blocks, 1 turnover, 3 base shooting, all 1 from 3, 2 from the free throw line in 20 minutes. So once again, out of all the starters, he played the least. I think this one kind of gets lost as far as other games where he didn't play a lot, just because no starter really played a lot tonight. Like I mentioned, Cade played 32, Tobias 31, Tim Hardaway Jr. 23, and Jalen Duren 25. So the 20 that Asar had doesn't look too bad. But the last few games now, we've been talking about it. He hasn't really played a lot of minutes, 21, 22, 20. So I don't know if it's just his conditioning. We talked about this the last few shows. But, he doesn't look to be himself right now. He doesn't look to be himself. And it's weird. I said it last show. I do think it is his wind. Because when he's out there, he does look to be energized. When he's out there, he looks to be very much energized. But he's just not out there long. And if you remember early in the season, when the Pistons were ramping up his minutes, they said they were going to have him go in short bursts, right? Tonight, he was going in short bursts. He wasn't in the game for long periods of time. And he was guarding, once again, the best offensive threat for the Wizards. He's been guarding the best offensive player for the last couple of weeks. And once again, Chris Middleton is the best. Well, him and Jordan Poole is who Asar was guarding. He was switching off on both of those guys. And Jordan Poole had 15 and Middleton had 8. So he did a solid job on both of those guys. All the guys did a good job. It wasn't just Asar. But those guys didn't get off tonight. But I think Asar he's just tired. We'll watch and see what happens in the next couple, days and weeks and see if anything comes out about it. But that's what it looks like to me, because he's giving you short, strong bursts, and then you don't see him on the floor anymore. You got Beasley back in, you got Schroeder in, you got somebody else in. So or you got Fontecchio in. So I think that's what it is. But we'll watch that. He was solid tonight. Wasn't great, but he did make some big plays to help this team win. He had a few blocks in his game. He had 1 block in the beginning of the game where he just spiked it up in the air. It was crazy. So yeah, I think he's going to be fine. I just think he needs to continue to get his conditioning back. Honestly, we'll see what happens. Let's get to Tobias Harris. Tobias had 12 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals, 2 turnovers, 5 for 12 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3, in 31 minutes. So he was okay. He was solid. He played team basketball tonight. He didn't shoot great, but what stands out to me is 2 things: the 8 rebounds and the 3 steals. Because those are not things you think about when you think about Tobias Harris. When you think Tobias Harris, you don't think rebounding. You don't think steals, right? You don't really think assists. You think scoring. You may think assists now, but you definitely don't think defensive stats. You don't think rebounds. You don't think steals. But that's who he's been the last few months, last couple months. That's who he's been. He has been doing a lot of things that are not characteristic of how he usually has played basketball, right? We know he's a bucket. Uncle T is a bucket. We know he was a bucket in 2016 when he was here with us, when we got to the playoffs. He was a bucket then. But now you see him really bringing the defensive effort, right? I think the last 2 games rebounding, he had like 12 rebounds. And then the game before that, or after that, he had 9 rebounds. And then tonight he's got 8. So he's been like double-digit rebounding pretty much the last 3 or 4 games. He's really been playing well, man, on both ends of the floor. And he's leaning into it. He's leaning into it. Everybody is buying into the culture, right? To see guys who are doing things uncharacteristic of what they usually do to help the team win, that's what you want. That's what you want. And that's what he did tonight. So he wasn't, it wasn't a glamorous stat line for him, but he did what he was supposed to do. He didn't have 30 points. He only had 12 points, right? But he had the best plus minus on the team at 28. So he's contributing to winning. He's finding ways to be effective. He's finding ways to be impactful, not just scoring the basketball. And if you have a ton of guys, a team of guys that can do that to where you're unpredictable on both sides of the ball, you're going to be hard to beat. Going to be hard to beat. So that's Tobias. All right, let me check the chat and see what we got, and then we'll get back to it. I bet Paul Reed can bring it. Stu only has, we're going to get to this, Emperor Yuri. We're going to get to this. Absolutely. As far as Stu and his technical files and things like that. Alessandro, I did not. We're going to get to the standings at the end of this show. So I'll talk about that too. Stu used to box out competitively in high school. These fake thugs better what? used to box. Yeah. Oh, definitely. They don't, that's the thing. He's not just an enforcer in the basketball court. Like he actually does this. He actually likes getting in the ring consistently all the time. That's one of his things. So I'm just saying they really, and I think they know that. I think, if we know it, then I'm sure they know it, So yeah, he not the one. He not the one. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Anybody feel nothing from games they're supposed to win? No. Actually, DG, I don't feel nothing. I feel like because you're supposed to win games, don't mean you're going to, especially with a young team. I've seen so many young Pistons teams lose games they're supposed to win. Greg Kelser said last year the Pistons were finding ways to lose games. So especially after last season, I don't ever feel nothing after. It don't matter who we play. It don't matter who we play. I don't care if we play the Shanghai Sharks. If we get a dub, and we're supposed to get a dub, if we're eligible to get the dub, I want the dub after last season. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I'll take them however I can get them. It's not always about the premier matchup on ABC against the Lakers or the Celtics and getting that signature win. Those are going to be there. But the likelihood of you having those signature wins is stacking up wins and getting consistency and getting the reps in throughout the games that are at 10:30 against the Kings. No shade. But that's really what it's about. That's really when you become a better team. So you can work your way up and be ready for that moment when it's there. They're building that now. That's why I like these wins. I don't care if they're ugly. I don't care if it's about 1 or about 100. If we get a win and we can stack up and build more confidence heading to the playoffs all day long, give me that. Give me that. I need that. These kind of games I need. We got one more coming up on Thursday against the same team, same building. So I feel what you're saying, DG. That's just kind of how I approach it. Like everything I say about the Pistons as far as like what I think they should be doing is in reference to the playoffs. It's like getting ready for the playoff push. It's igniting the engine, turning it over now, right? Getting it going now. That's what it's about. It's like, let's get into gear so we ain't got to hop in the car when it's negative 5 degrees out, hop straight in the car and got to start it and then take off. Like, no, let's warm up. Let's get ready. Let's slowly build to that point. So by the time we get to the playoffs, we'll be a well-oiled machine. That's what it's about. That's kind of how I'm looking at it, So that's just my take, though. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. All right, so now let's get to, I think we got 2 more starters. Let's get to Tim Hardaway Jr. All right, Tim Hardaway Jr. had 11 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 3 for 8 shooting, 3 of 7 from 3, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, in 23 minutes. So Tim Hardaway Jr. also got hit in the face. He got hit in the face by Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart, and he was involved in a couple. Marcus Smart was involved in a couple confrontations or altercations or scuffles, whatever you want to call it, tonight. And that was the second that he got involved in. And he got a flagrant for that. He was driving to the hoop, put an elbow in Tim Hardaway Jr.'s face. And, crazy, man. This was a crazy night. Crazy night, man. And Marcus Smart has always been one of those guys that get on my nerves. I've never been a Marcus Smart fan. I appreciate what he brings. Because I'm not going to say I don't appreciate what he brings. Because I don't want to sound like I just don't like him because he's not on my basketball team. Because Isaiah Stewart. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to say that. I just don't like, I guess I don't like the talking. I don't like the talking. And he's always talking. Like Stu, one thing about Stu, he doesn't talk unless he's initiated. He may knock you down. You know what I'm saying? He may push you or like give you a nudge. He may give you a little extra. But he's not just going to do this. He'll do this after you start. And then he'll finish it. I just don't like the talking. The talking is just weak to me. The tough boy talk, I just never really got with that. That's just my personal thing, man. I don't really mess with it like that. I know I talked about getting him earlier in the season before we got shorter, but I'd rather have shorter. I'm sorry. I'd rather have shorter. I'm just not a Marcus Smart fan as far as what he, I don't want to say what he portrays to be because I don't know him. It just doesn't feel as authentic as it does with somebody like Isaiah Stewart to me. That's just me. I could be wrong. That's just my take. Doug, Deuce, you got the energy tonight. Thanks, bro. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, I'm trying to bring it, man. Pistons back at home. Hey, guys, isn't it so fun to be able to go to Pistons games or watch Pistons games when it's sunny outside? I feel like every game this year has been like overcast where it's still light outside or it's just dark. You know what I mean? So, like, I think tonight was the first, and of course we had daylight savings time. We sprung forward, right? That's part of it, too. We have an extra hour. But, or, it feels like we have an extra hour. But I think with that, like, it just feels good to be able to go to LCA and it's light out, or to watch the game from the crib and it's light outside. You can open the blinds a little bit, let the light shine in as you're watching the game, right? That kind of thing. It just feels cool. So I'm excited about playoff basketball. Hopefully you guys are too. But games like tonight are games you have to win. You absolutely got to win this game. But getting back to Tim Hardaway Jr., he was solid, man. He was solid. He shot the ball fairly well. He moved very well without the basketball. Played good positional defense, good individual defense, good team defense as well. He really did that. And I just love his hustle. I love his hustle. We know he knocks down shots. He knocked down some big shots early for the Pistons, coming off curls, things like that. But just his hustle, man. It was a missed shot, and I think it was second quarter. A shot went up. It was missed. Pistons took a shot, missed a shot. And the Wizards tried to push it. And, I think what happened was the Pistons actually had on the break. They missed it. That's what happened. The Pistons had I forgot who got the ball, but they had a pretty much a fast break, and they missed the attempt, right, to make the shot. And usually when that happens, like when you're running hard, sprinting hard, trying to get down the court, and you don't get the ball, and you miss, and the other team goes flying down the court, like usually the guys who were just on offense are like they're not trying to turn right back around and run down the court again. You know what I mean? But Tim was running on the break for his fast break opportunity. It didn't come. The Pistons didn't score. And then the Wizards pushed. He turned right back around and sprinted down the court. And he ended up getting a steal from behind. And the Pistons took about down the court, and they got him a Malik Beasley 3. Like, that's the kind of effort I'm talking about. When you don't want to get back, you still get back. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the kind of plays that win you playoff games. That's why I love Tim Hardaway Jr., man. He just does those things. He does, though. He doesn't take plays off. He doesn't take plays off. He hustles his tail off. Right? And that's what I love about his game, is that he just brings that consistency night after night after night. You see, he plays the same exact way, guys. I don't know how many people actually knew that he played this type of structured basketball. For those of you who watch him in Michigan, you watch him in Michigan, But even then, it seemed like he had a little bit more freedom than he's playing with right now. And I'm not saying he doesn't have freedom. He's just very much committed to playing the same exact way every game. Like, he's playing the same way. It looks like you can't even tell what game it is. You can't even tell from how he's playing who they're playing. You can't even tell because it looks exactly the same from other games. He's played the same way all the time. So I got to give him credit for giving us that consistency, right? It's not glamorous, eye-popping numbers, but he's given our team and our starting five some regularity and some consistency. And for that, I can rock with it. I can rock with him, man. He's playing solid. All right. Let's get to our last guy, man. Our last starter. Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren, man. 15 points, 13 boards, 2 blocks, 1 turnover, on 7 for 11 shooting, 1 or 2 from the free throw line, in 25 minutes. Okay. God, I'm gonna say it. I think Jalen Duren right now is a top 10 big in his league. Right now. I think I will put him right at 10. I think he's one of the top 10 bigs in this league. The way he's playing right now, right? We know, I would say it first half of the season, he was in the bottom 20, maybe bottom 25, the way he was playing, because he wasn't playing inspired basketball. But now, the way he's playing with the motor that he's playing with, to go along with his measurables and his athleticism, man, oh man, I'm telling y'all, man, Jalen Duren, I say it like every stream, but it's true. I'm seeing it every game. He's committed. He's taking pride in that end of the floor. In one of the interviews I heard him say, he says, that's my role. Being a defensive anchor is my role. That's what I have to do for this team. That's what he's saying. So he has committed to it. You can tell, the coaches have made it very, very clear to him what they need him to do on this team, right? We may not see his full scope of talent, at least right away, on this team. You're not going to see that he can handle the ball well for a big. We're not going to see that he can do different things here and there with the ball, bring the ball up court consistently. He can do it, but not consistently. And inconsistency means turnovers, right? So he has an array of skills, but right now he is being mature enough to understand all I got to give them right now is this. Give them full tilt of this. Give my team full tilt of just this skill set right here. I can do all this, but they need me to do this because we have guys who can do this other stuff. And that's what it really appears to me that he is really doing. He's bought in. He's bought in. Everybody has bought in. And he is one, you can just see how he's playing, that he really is taking pride in being a top big man in his league. Because now if you watch him, just how he's playing, the fire he's playing with, just he's becoming that defensive anchor. He's a beast on the boards. He protects the rim. On offense, he's sprinting down the court, setting really good screens now, looking like Stu, setting screens, catching lob after lob after lob for a dunk. And on one play, I gotta call it out, right? I gotta call how I see it. I gotta give criticism with the credit, right? I gotta be that guy. But I saw it, so I gotta call it out. And you guys probably saw it too. On one play, he kind of reverted back to the JD of the first half of the season, right? He had the ball, it was still like 10 seconds left. It was plenty of time. He was at the top of the key. And I think the play had broken down. It wasn't available. They had played good defense and the play had broken down. So you got 10 seconds left. So he could have easily got the ball out to Cade or Schroeder or whoever's in the court, let them initiate something with 10 seconds left, plenty of time, maybe even a rescreen for JD to get a lob or something like that, or Cade get a midi, right? Something. But he could have given the ball back to his point guard. And instead, he turned around, looked at Alex R, and tried to cross him over. And when I saw him put his head down and start to dribble, I said, "Oh my gosh, here we go again. No, JD, we don't stop. No, we don't need it. Stop, JD, stop." And lo and behold, he loses the ball. He bounces it off his foot. Luckily, it went to THJ. But I'm just like, bro, we don't need it. Just be who you are. That's my mantra for all these guys. Just do what you do best. We're gonna get to other guys where I'm saying just do what you do best. You guys probably know where I'm going. But it's just like an itch that he has to scratch to be able to just show that off at times. Because when he's just doing those things that he does well, consistently well, that we need him to do, he's a beast. He's a beast. He's a monster. And so every now and then you do see him just trying to, let me show him a little something else. We up 15 right now. It won't be a big deal if I miss. It just seems like sometimes he's just like, bro, come on, man, be consistent. If it's 3 seconds left, okay, sure. But if it's 10 seconds left, you got to get a better shot. I know Alex Sarr is a rookie, but he's still tall and long with big hands. So, that's really the only knock on JD for me. It's just continuing. He's still 21, right? He's still developing that consistency and the maturity, the discipline to be able to be that robotic when it comes to how you play, right? And that's when the reps come in. So, but aside from that, JD was great. He was great. He had a nice block on Jordan Poole where he just tossed it off the backboard. Looked like it was easy. Like that shot never had a chance. Never had a chance. So his defense has really improved. It's really improved. He is not caught out of position, whether he's trying to screen or seal, to block out, or whether he's just, going head up with a guard who got into the paint, right? He's hedging better and playing good as far as putting 2-on-1. He's really doing a good job as far as just trying to guard two at the same time, hedging out of the screen and roll. So he's really getting better all around. He's really getting better all around. He's going to be a really good player, man. He's going to be a really good player. It's exactly why I said you don't trade a 21-year-old with a brand new coach a few months into the season. You're not going to get anything back anyway. It doesn't matter. Makes no sense. That makes no sense. So anyway, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole tonight. You guys already know how I feel about that. But you see the potential in the ceiling that Jalen Duren has for sure. Let me see. That's him. He did it a couple other times and it did work. You can't call it the one time it did. It's not about did it work or not, Chris. It's not about did it work. It's about do we need that play? It's a ton of shots that guys take in this league that are bad shots that go in. Look at LaMelo Ball. No shade. He's a talented player, but he takes so many shots that he shouldn't take that are low percentage shots that go in. And I'm sure his coach is cringing. It's not about did it go in. It's about what do we need you to do right now. That should be a last resort right now for him. He needs to continue to be consistent with what he does best. I'm not saying you can't ever do it, but it's better to err on the side of caution and allow the other guys who are better than you at those things, let them do that. There are guys on this team who are better passers. I'm not saying you don't use him as a hub every now and then, but because he does have good vision. But there are guys on this team that can get you better shots, that can make better passes, that can make better decisions. Why? Because they have the ball in their hands more. They have more reps. That's what they do. So it's not about did it go in or not. It's about, is this what's best for the team right now? And a lot of times, like the time when he went one-on-one, trying to score on Alex Sarr with 10 seconds left, trying to cross him over as a big, that's not the right play. It don't matter if it's going or not. Because you got to get used to playing a certain way going to the playoffs. You got to be robotic going to the playoffs. You can't have lapses to where you don't know what you're doing because you haven't been consistent in the season. You got to build the chemistry now. It starts, that's what I'm saying, guys. Everything I'm saying is about the playoffs for those in the back who didn't hear me. You got to build the consistency now. Right? If you just sprinkle in a play or two every now and then, okay, fine, but not consistently. That's not what he does best. That's why Cade averages 10 assists a game. That's why. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying, y'all know what I'm saying. I'm gonna leave that alone. Y'all know what I'm saying. And Chris, I understand what you're saying too. I'm just saying it's not about did the shot go in. Is it the right play? Is this the right play? Because just because we're winning now don't mean it's gonna go in tomorrow. Probably not going to. It's probably not going to work. So that's all I'm saying. It's a numbers game. It's Black says, do we have a timeline on IBA? Yeah, I saw J.I. in the building, man. I saw he was there. It's so hard watching him and that because I could just see how much he wants to play. I could just look at his face and see like he's just itching to get out there. And hopefully it'll be soon. I don't have an update firm yet because they don't have one firm yet. When me and King interviewed his father, you guys can check that out on our channels, on his or mine. We did an interview with Javen Hunter, who was Jaden's pops, at my studio about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. And we asked him that question, point blank. We just asked him. So we told him y'all was going to crash out if we didn't ask. We can't go through a whole interview and not ask, right? So, yeah, we asked him straight up. And he was honest. He was like, he'll let us know. He's going to trust his body. It's all on him right now, right? It's all on him and the doctors, of course, obviously. But it's all on his level of confidence in that leg and his push and things like that. That's why he's out of the walking boot, right? He's walking around. He's got an ankle brace on now. So he's making great progress. I'm hopeful that he can return some point in the playoffs. I'm not going to say he will. Without saying too much, I think it's possible, right? I think it's possible. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm hopeful that he can play in the playoffs. That'll make a lot of difference. But I want to say this, guys, too, is that it's going to be very important to watch how he's utilized. Because when you think about it with J.I., when he went down, he was playing the best basketball of his life, right? He was playing at his highest level that we've ever seen him play on a better team. That's part of why he was playing so well. right? And a better coach, of course, right? But we can't expect him to come back whenever he does come back. We can't expect him to come back and be the guy he was when he went down, right before he went down, right? Because he had worked himself into a lather. He had worked himself into a rhythm. He worked himself into a confidence up to that point in the season. He went down on January 1st. So we always talk about how we got to give us our patience because he was off for 8 months with a blood clot. We got to give J.I. patience too when he comes back. It'll have been at least 3 months, right? Minimum. So we can't expect him to come back and just get right to it. Oh yeah, no. He's got to build confidence. He's got to build physical and mental strength, right? He's got to get back to playing basketball again. He's been off. He hasn't even been. It's not like it's a finger injury and you can still do everything and your finger's just broken. It's not one of those kind of things. It's your arm, or you can still it's his leg. That affects your cardio. That affects your conditioning. That affects everything. That's why whenever saying Aiden Hutchinson coming back from a tibia fracture, which is the bigger bone, for the Super Bowl, I'm like, how? Because Jaden has been out for the amount of time, basically that Hutchinson was out at this point, and he's still not back. And that's a smaller bone that he broke. That's the fibula behind the tibia that he broke. So I'm looking at Aiden Hutchinson like, how, bro? How you getting back? How? So whatever. But I'm just saying, you guys gotta. Not saying you guys aren't going to, but we all gotta give Jaden time when he gets back. And my question is, depending on how we look at that point in the season, you don't want to mess up that chemistry that's already established unnecessarily. I'm not saying he's going to if he decides to come back. I'm not saying he would, but it's just something to be careful with because think about this. Since he's been out, it's been 2 months now, 2.5 months almost, January 1st. Since he went out, think about how much better the team has gotten since January. Think about how much better Jalen Duren has gotten since January. Think about how much better Tobias has gotten since January. Think about how much better Cade has gotten since January. High turnovers, not a down, right? So my point is that everybody around Jaden has gotten better. He's used to them being here as far as what their ability is and what they can do. Now we're seeing JD being a much better defender. He's seeing Cade take on so much more of a load, and he's still being efficient. He's seen Tobias be Tobias Harris, who we thought he was going to be. He's finally getting a chance to play with a star. And that takes me to one more thing about Jaden, and we're going to move on. Because I've been hearing a lot of talk about how the Pistons are better without Jaden, because when he went down, they started winning, right? Guys, think about this for a second. How many games did Jaden Ivey play with Asar Thompson? See, when Jaden went down, that was very close to the window of when Asar came back. Asar didn't start the whole season. If you remember, Tim Hardaway Jr. was starting at the 3. Remember? And I was saying that, yeah, that's cool, but that's not a good look because he's 6'5" on a good day, guarding threes. He's a bull. He's tough. I mentioned he's going to play great defense. But guess what? That's not going to make him grow. He's still 6'5", guarding a guy who's 6'8", every single night. The starting lineup was Cade, Jaden, Tim Hardaway Jr., Tobias Harris, Jalen Duren. That was the starting 5. Don't you think that's part of why the Pistons have played better since Jaden went down? Because when he went down, Asar came back. And the defense improved. Because I call Asar what? The backbone of the defense. If your backbone of the defense comes back to your team, you're going to be better. So we've seen Tim Hardaway Jr. and Jaden. And then we saw Tim Hardaway Jr. and Asar. That doesn't mean that Jaden is hurting the team because we haven't seen Jaden and Asar. That's the difference, guys. That is the difference. And that is what everybody is missing. We haven't seen our starting lineup yet. If you think about it, the start of the season, Asar was out. Asar comes back, Jaden goes down. They haven't all 5 really been together on the floor, right? THJ is filled in admirably at the 2. That just shows how important Asar is at the 3. Because now Tim Hardaway Jr. is not guarding guys bigger than him, much bigger than him every single night. That affects your defense. Jaden Ivey playing with this level of Asar Thompson, this level Cade, this level Tobias, this level Jalen Duren, and you don't think that's going to do well? Come on, man. Come on, man. Like, so y'all got to stop with all, not y'all, whoever it is, y'all got to stop with this. We've been better since Jaden went out. Yeah, because when he went out, Asar came back. Let's see all 5 of them play together and not just 4 before we pass judgment on Jaden Ivey and us being better without him. That's all I ask. Do your homework before you make statements like that. They have not all played together consistently or at all. Come on, man. Y'all, I had to get that out because so many people have been saying that about Jaden and it makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense. We might not even go get Dennis Schroeder if we don't have Jaden, if we have Jaden available. We had to go get somebody like Schroeder, who's been great, by the way, because we were playing Cade 38 minutes a game because Jaden wasn't here. There was no other point guard available. It was just Cade. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you got to look at the whole picture. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to leave it alone after that. I'm going to leave that alone. J.I. started making smart decisions before he got hurt. Yeah, and that wasn't even with the starting lineup, bro. Asar, he wasn't playing with Asar. Think about how much faster we're going to be now when Jaden comes back. Him and Asar. Imagine lineups with him and Asar and Ryan at times. With Bees and Stu. What? Just saying, man. Just saying, y'all. Y'all, you'll see. Whoever said that, you'll see when he comes back, when we're whole again as 5, how good this team can be. Because we have not been whole. Once again, it's either been THJ and Asar, or it's been THJ and Jaden. It has not been Jaden and Asar. We have not seen a sample size, even if I don't even know if they played a game at all. We have not seen a sample size of Cade, Jaden, Asar, Tobias, Jalen Duren, which is what exactly I wanted to see from the start of the season. I said start of the season, that's going to be the starting 5. Not Beasley as a starter because he can space the foot. No. Who everybody thought that too, that Beasley was going to start. No. This is the starting 5. We have not seen them yet. So my point is that when he's at full tilt, when he's the Jaden that we remember, back with these guys along with Asar, it's going to be nice. It's going to be super nice. You guys are going to see. We're going to be so unpredictable on offense. We are going to be so unpredictable on offense. With the ball movement and the deep, and he already plays tough defense. He is a willing defender. He's going to have so many breakaway layups and dunks because of guys like Asar playing with him on the defensive end. Like you see Asar getting them now. You see Tobias getting them now. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun, guys. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it alone. We'll come back to this stream, this show, and talk about it when it happens. Hopefully soon. Doug, I'm delighted we won't have to be in the fixed NBA draft lottery again. So late make our picks as late for many as we can. You stole my sorry. Doug, yeah, man. I don't know, bro. That's like I don't know how everybody forgot that. We haven't had our full starting lineup all year. That's really all I wanted to say about that. I appreciate you, by the way, Doug. You always show love, man. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this because I'll be doing this with my wife, talking her ear off if I wasn't with y'all right now. So this is what we do, man. This is what we do. But I appreciate you guys. All right. So after that long tangent, let's get back to the box score. All right. So let's get to the bench. Let's get to the bench, guys, and then we'll call it a night. All right. And then we'll do the standings, and we'll call it a night because I keep seeing you guys saying Bucks, Pacers. We'll get to that too. All right. Simone Fontecchio, guys. Let's start with him. I got a lot to say about him. I got a lot to say about Simone Fontecchio. Y'all know the drill. I got to get a little water before I go off on Fontecchio. When I go off, because I had nothing to go off about. But let's talk about it, man. Fontecchio played good again. He played solid again. Tonight, he had 8 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, only 1 turnover, 3 of 5 shooting, 2 of 4 from 3, 18 minutes. That's what I want to see. Impactful play. It's so many games where, and tonight he shot it better, but I'm going to get into why he shot it better as well. But it's just good to see, just nothing. I hate when I see a stat line and just see donuts. Just donuts. Points, minutes, donuts in between. Like points, rebounds, assists, steals, block, like this. He really wouldn't give us anything in the past. And I would say that it's not for lack of trying. He just wasn't giving us effort. He wasn't giving us effort. Well, I'm not sorry. It wasn't that he wasn't giving us. He was giving us effort. He wasn't giving us impact. I'm sorry. He wasn't giving us impact. He was trying, but he wasn't doing enough things that were making an impact on either side of the floor, especially if he wasn't scoring, if he wasn't knocking down his three ball. So here's what I noticed, guys. With Fontecchio, I feel like the Pistons have tweaked how they use him. They've changed a little bit how they use him. And first of all, I love the DHO action with him and Beasley. DHO is a dribble handoff where one guy is dribbling the ball, they dribble it, and another guy comes over and he hands it off to him, and the other guy takes off the other way. It's kind of like a screen in a sense, as a pass at the same time. So they call it a dribble handoff. So I like how they're getting him involved in those dribble handoffs because, like they do, I saw tonight they did it with him and Beasley. They did it with him and Beasley, and it's good for both guys because Beasley's not a point guard. He's not a ball handler. So it allows Beasley to not have to create momentum. The momentum was there for him from meeting Fontecchio at the ball, So the DHO allows him to kind of get a head start, to get some motion, right? And it makes the guy, with the ball, it helps him make a better decision, right? Once they catch the ball, they can get into their move, right? And I like that because the DHO, it also allows a guy like Fontecchio, right? It allows him to move without the basketball, right? Which is what we've been asking for because he can dribble, drop it off, they cross, and now he can come off of it. And if he's open, he can get a shot. He can cut to the rim. He can do different things, which is what I've been asking for. I've been asking for him to just move yourself. If the shot's not there, move the ball and move yourself. It'll come back to you if it's supposed to. You guys have heard me say it all year, right? So that's what I would love to see with him. And he did that with the dribble handoff. And on top of that, guys, the DHO, the dribble handoff, it also allows Fontecchio to feel the rock, to hold the ball, to touch it. You know what I'm saying? Like to feel like he's part of the offense. When you got the ball and you're moving it and you're passing it, you feel like you're part of it. You feel like you're part of what's going on offensively, right? And that can help you kind of get into a rhythm. And after that, like when he was involved in the offense, even if he wasn't getting a shot, when he would get the ball off a screen, he was knocking it down. Didn't he look more confident tonight shooting the basketball? He looked much more confident to me tonight shooting the basketball. He was 3 of 5 overall. I think he was 2 of 4 from 3, right? 2 of 4 from 3. So I like the dribble handoff action for him because it helps him to kind of get involved in what's going on. It helps him get involved in what's going on. And I like that. And I talk about impact plays with him, right? I talk about how, he plays great sound defense. He's smart defensively. He doesn't make many mistakes, but he would just kind of be guarding his guy and forcing his guy to a pass. And now it kind of be the end of that possession for him defensively, right? And that's fine, but it wasn't really enough of an impactful play from him. And tonight, he had a few impactful plays like that stood out. He had a buzzer-beating dunk right at the end of the first quarter because he hustled back with Tobias. Tobias had a one-on-one break with about 4 seconds left, and he took it coast to coast. He went to the hoop. He missed the layup, but because Fontecchio was hustling back, trailing, he was able to get down the court before anybody else and get the dunk. And once again, that's an impactful play, right? Because that's impact on the court, that's impact on the scoreboard, and that's impact on the morale of LCA, right? That's what your fans thrive off of. They thrive off of your effort, your hustle. That's how he's going to be impactful in this league, right? Maybe playing in Italy, he was the go-to guy. He's used to being the Cade in Italy, perhaps, right? So, it takes a very mature person to come to a team and have to just do what JD's doing. Just kind of shrink your game a little bit as far as what you do for right now. Because we have guys who are better than you at what you used to do in other places, in college, overseas, for JD and Fontecchio. So I think now Fontecchio was understanding that his game is going to have to adjust. He can't be that guy that's dribbling the ball on the court, getting buckets. Everybody in the NBA is athletic. Everybody's fast. Everybody's quick. Everybody's strong. So he thinks he's got a lane trying to dribble, and then he realizes he doesn't on the shot, and he's caught in the air because the defender was right there with him. He was athletic enough to be right there with him, and now everybody's ready for the pass turnover. Like, that's the difference. I think he's understanding now he has to play differently to be effective in the NBA, right? And that type of thing is impactful. The type of play he made, hustling back down, getting a chase, getting a putback dunk to end the quarter. The crowd was going crazy, right? That builds momentum. That's how you shift momentum. That's the kind of impactful plays that are going to keep him on the floor. And our fans love it because that's how Detroit wins. That's how Pistons have always won, playing that way. We were saying last stream, it didn't seem like he really fit with the team. That's why he wasn't doing things like this. He wasn't hustling back on, like, he just the little things. He wasn't doing the little things. And I feel that if he fully, I said this last show, I feel like if he commits fully to playing that role, that Tim Hardaway Jr. role, like the role that Tim Hardaway Jr. plays, if Fontecchio commits to that role, right? Move without the basketball, knock down open shots, crash the glass, give your body up for charges, play smart, and discipline defense, right? Those are all things that Tim Hardaway Jr. does. They play different positions and the different players. But for this team, that's the role that Tim Hardaway Jr. plays. And I think that's the role that Fontecchio needs to play if he's going to be effective. He needs to be to the second unit what Tim Hardaway Jr. is to the first unit. He needs to be that guy. If he does that, I don't mind him continuing to be that guy off the bench. If not, I'm looking at other guys like Lindy Waters, who we'll get to. Right? But he played well tonight. I got to give him credit. He played well. And one more thing on him. I know, because y'all know I'm usually hard on him. So I got to give him the credit with the criticism, right? He did a great job, too, of helping the helper. I always talk about helping the helper, right? When help side defense comes for a block because the initial guy got beat, you got to make sure you're helping your teammate. You got his back, and you're crashing the glass and making sure that the guy, that his man doesn't get the rebound and put back, right? When Stu goes up for a block, Stu's man is open for a putback dunk. You got to come over and make sure you crash your glass and prevent that. Fontecchio did that tonight. And that play, when he helped secure the rebound, where he didn't allow the putback dunk, he got in there, disrupted, and helped get the rebound. That, guess what? That led to another run out for Malik Beasley three-pointer to end the third quarter. Crowd goes crazy again. Impactful play. Momentum shifter. 5-point swing. Those are the plays he has to make. He hadn't been making them all season long. But now he is. The last two games, he's been playing different. I've noticed it. I've been watching him very closely. Very closely. And he's playing different now. I think if he continues to do this, we're going to be just fine. We're going to be just fine. Let me check the comments and we'll get back to everybody else. Let's see. Waters came. Yes, bro. I told y'all about Lindy Waters. Man, I told you. I've been watching him since he was at Golden State. Right? I'm not the biggest Golden State fan, but whenever I would catch him or catch them beating somebody, he'd be right there knocking down shots. He'd come into the game knocking down. I just saw him like, who's this dude keep knocking down shots? Who is this dude? Who is this guy? So yeah, he's the guy I would look to. Likely, my guy is still Bobby Clintman. I want Bobby Clintman to play like there's no tomorrow. But based on who is consistently on the bench, it's got to be Clintman. I'm sorry, it's got to be Waters. Or it's got to be B-Ball Paul. One of those two. But that's if Fontecchio regresses. Because if we get this version of Fontecchio, I'm not changing anything. Because we can rock with that. We can work with that. But Lindy Waters, man, is a clip. I told y'all, man, he is a clip, bro. And he's not just a catch and shoot guy. Tonight he put it on the floor, got right into a shot and put it in. Like he's a bucket, man. He's got his shot is butter, man. His shot is butter. So it's good to have a guy like him, right? If we need to go to him, it's good to have that. It's good to have that. Devin said he got a burner. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Just ready. I respect Stewart buying into the backup role. Nas Reed would definitely make. Man, just ready. You about to have me not finishing the rest of this box score, bro. I've been on Nas Reed for I don't know how long now. I think last year I was telling you I want Nas Reed to be my 4 of the future. I love Nas Reed. And we're not going to get too far off, but I love Nas Reed. Man, he would be a perfect 4 next to JD. perfect 4 next to JD. I hope after we take care of Beasley, which is right, presuming we do. After we take care of Beasley this offseason, go get Naz Reid, bro. Go get him. Go get that man, and we will be contending for the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm saying that now. Yes. With who's in the East right now. Yes. I'm saying it right now. Yes. That's how much confidence I have in how good we could be as a unit if we have that guy in that spot. I would love it. I would absolutely love it. It would be incredible. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave that there. But I'm with you, Chest Ready. I'm with you. I'm hoping we see that. And as far as Stu, like, Stu was really bought into his role. Like, he had an open 3, wide open. They were giving it to him from the top of the key. And he thought about it, but he saw he had Cade with a mouse in the house under the hoop. So guess what he did? He threw a nice little touch pass, lob pass to Cade for the easy bucket. So Stu was like not only making the right play, he's not really focused on the 3. He can shoot it. It's in his back pocket. He's got it in his belt, utility belt. But he's so focused on playing in that paint and dominating that paint. And I love to see it. Love to see it, man. These guys are defining their roles and chiseling away at the details of who they're going to be as players. Love it. Love it. All right. Let's get to the rest of the bench and we'll get out of here. We just got to Waters. We talked about him. He was 2 for 2 from 3, by the way. He had 6 points in 2 minutes. Ridiculous. All right. Let's get to, we got 3 or 4 more guys. Let's get to Ron Holland. Ron Holland struggled tonight, guys. He struggled tonight, man. He did not have a good night. He looked like he was out of sync all night long. He just couldn't get it going. He had 4 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers on 2 of 7 shooting, all 2 from 3 in 18 minutes. He just seemed like he was a little flustered. I don't know what it was, but maybe it was some shots that he thought should have gone in that didn't go in. But he had a few plays too where he got kind of just shuffled his feet and turned the ball over, moving a little bit too quick. Kind of like with Asar. I always say Asar moves too fast. I feel like sometimes too, Ron he struggles with just slowing down a little bit when you catch the ball. You're faster than most guys who are guarding you. You can get downhill pretty quickly. And sometimes he would just shuffle his feet and run without the ball. Or, he would just kind of take 2 or 3 steps before he even puts the ball on the floor. So he just has to slow down. He's got to slow down. I'm not concerned about tonight individually. He's going to have bad games. He's a rookie. Don't forget. I think he's kind of spoiled us because he is a rookie and he's playing above his head. But he had a bad game. Off night happens. Not worried about it. All right, let's get to Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart tonight, this was the other altercation that took place, was with Isaiah Stewart. So, double text, a lot of stuff happened tonight, man. Double texts were handed out to both Stu and Marcus Smart tonight. And it started when Stu contested Smart on the drive, and Smart made the shot, but he thought he should have gotten called. It should have been a foul call, and it should have been an and 1. And he let Stu know about it. And then Stu jawed back, and they just kind of went at each other. And I heard Smart say, I'm not the one. I'm not to Stu. I'm not the one. And then Stu ran down the court and kind of got in his face and said something to him. And then Smart kind of smiled and shook his head. So it was kind of reminiscent of when Stewart got in Russell Westbrook's face and said, I'll beat your tail. That's kind of what he did to Smart again. Like, you're not the one. I'm about to show you who the one. And he called his bluff. And he ran down the court and said something to him and looked at him and kept going. And Smart was just like, oh, okay. So, man, stop. Stop, bro. This dude twice your size. Don't play. But aside from that, so Stu goes to the bench, right? JB gets him out of the game. And Marcus Smart is still in the court. And he tries to walk over to the bench. And I don't know what he was thinking. I'm just glad that Ron Holland got up, jumped up, and got in his way. Ron Holland didn't allow it. Ron Holland stood up immediately and got in his path and said, "What are you doing, bro? Like, get out of here. Stop. You're coming to our bench. It's 10 guys sitting over here. What do you think is going to happen? You think they all just going to let you talk crazy?" That's why stuff like that tells me you're not really serious about doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I'm sure you thought that through before you decided to do that. You knew somebody was going to hold you back. You knew somebody was going to keep you from getting over there. Because if you get over there, now you're the mouse in the house. And we're at home. You're in our bench area, just like Steph was in our bench area. But you're provoking now. Like, what do you think is going to happen? That tells me guys just are doing stuff for optics. Personally, that's just how I see it. But anyway, they both got double texts. And now, guys, Stu has to be careful. He's got to be careful. Somebody said it earlier. Whoever it was earlier that said that about the text. Post it again so I can put it on the screen. But Stu has to be careful. He now has 12 technical fouls on the season. And before you get suspended, you can only have 15. Right? Once you get to 16, now you start getting suspensions. And they start happening rapidly. So the Pistons right now are 37-29 on the season. So that means there's 16 games left. And then a possible 16 best case scenario in the playoffs, right? Or 16 wins, right? We're just thinking long term. But however long the playoff run is, it's that many games, plus the 16 we have left in the regular season. So he has to be careful because every technical foul you get after 16, once you get 16, you're suspended. And for every 2 after that, you're suspended. So it goes 1 to 16 tech and then 1-2 tech. 1 to 16 suspension, then 1-2 suspension. 1-2 suspension. 1-2 suspension. So he's got to be careful. He has to really, he's put himself in a position now to where he has to be really, really careful and still continue to bring that fight and that gritty mentality and that toughness without getting technical fouls. It's going to be something he has to do because the last thing you want, guys, and I'm going to say this very, very slowly because I've seen this happen before in playoff series throughout the years, right? The last thing you want is to be up 3-2 in the playoff series against the Knicks, let's just say, right? Say we're up 3-2. And the last thing you want, guys, is for Stu to be is to have a technical foul that leads to a suspension. And now your team has to play game 7 on the road without you. Right? So they just have to be careful. He has to be careful. And with the Pistons still trying to jockey and get in position for the playoffs, you also don't want him to not be available for regular season games because that can hurt the Pistons' chances if they're trying to move up. I personally want them to stay where they are at 6. Right? I'm getting kind of tempted now because I see how close we are to 4, and I'm thinking about how much fun it would be to have a playoff series at home. I just don't want to lose a series that we had home court advantage in the first round. I don't want that. And depending on who we play at 5, it could be possible, more possible than us beating the Knicks, in my opinion. If you get to 4 or 5, we're probably going to play the Bucks or Pacers. Right? So I'm kind of torn. I want the Pistons to keep winning games and to build towards the playoffs. And, the 4th seed is up for grabs, of a home court advantage spot is up for grabs. But who we're going to play when we get there is what I'm concerned about and what I'm worried about. So we'll see. We'll see. The Pistons are in a good spot either way. They're in a good spot. All right. So let's move on. Let's get to 2 more guys and we'll call it a night. Get to the standings and call it a night. Dennis Schroeder, guys, has been everything the Pistons have needed him to be. He hasn't been perfect, but he's been very good. He's been very good in such a short period of time. For him to buy in and kind of just like, not seamlessly, but close to seamlessly kind of just fit in with this team, it's pretty remarkable. He had 11 points, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 turnover, on 4 for 11 shooting, 2 of 6 from 3, 1 or 2 from the free throw line in 23 minutes. So, like I always say, guys, the most important thing for me, outside of his productivity, because he is bringing that, but you see with him how much he allows Cade to rest. Like I mentioned, before we picked him up and we needed a point guard, it was clear Cade was playing 40 minutes close to every night. And you had guys trying to manufacture offense who weren't point guards. You had Tobias. You had Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., Asar, other guys trying to initiate and manufacture offense whenever he would sit down, and it would go terribly. And that's why Cade would have to come back into the game. That's why he's scoreboard watching, because we had no other point guard when Jaden went down. That's why Dennis Jimenez is so important. Chest ready. Shout out. That's why he's so important. Because he allows our guy. How often over the past 3 years have we seen Cade resting in the 4th quarter with minutes and not coming back into the game with 5 minutes to go, him resting on the court or resting on the bench? How often have we seen that in the last 3 years? I think I've seen that more this year than the last 3 years combined. is him just being able to rest because we won. Not because we lost. I'm not talking about because we got blew out and he's gonna bench like this. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about because I'm talking about him smiling on the bench, cracking jokes with Jared Jack, laughing, content because the game is over in our favor. How many times we see that? Past 3 years. Not as many as we've seen this year alone. So that's the biggest difference and most important factor of getting Dennis the Menace. Because you have a competent point guard who can run your offense and more times than not sustain the lead that you have or build upon it. He's been very, very good in a very short period of time. I'm considering how short of a time he's been here and how he's already been able to adapt and gel with his teammates. For example, if you guys remember last show, I said to pay attention to the chemistry brewing between him and Isaiah Stewart in that pick and roll, right? It's like a baby version of Cade and JD, right? They run it the same way. It's still effective. It doesn't look as eye-popping, right? Because we know JD's just a freak athlete. But they do a lot of the same things. They have good chemistry already. Stu is still setting great screens, which gives Schroeder a lot of space. And when he snakes off the screen, he's a midi king. His mid-range game is elite. So they have to account for him. And when they do that, a lot of the time you have two on the ball. The guy on Schroeder's hip and the help side defender who's leaving Stu, which leaves Stu right open. And now the helper has to come to help Stu under the basket, and that guy is usually smaller than Stu. And Stu is more times than not scoring out of it. They're playing the same way, guys. The starting unit and the bench unit are playing with uniformity. There's redundance, which is why I say it's so important for a guy like Fontecchio to play the Tim Hardaway Jr. role. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying these things for a reason. The Pistons starters and bench now have uniformity. Both units play the same way. Ron Holland does a lot of stuff Asar does. Schroeder does a lot of stuff that Cade does. It's a lot of the same things. Stu is doing the same things JD's doing. I need Fontecchio to be THJ for that role. And then Jaden is going to come back and be the Beasley with more athleticism and speed and playmaking and shooting almost as good from three. The uniformity. It doesn't matter who's available or who's not. You can have a guy get hurt and have a guy coming off the bench and play that role. And he's going to be able to do it seamlessly because what he did as a bench player is the same thing the starters do. He's not going to have to relearn as much what to do with this unit because these units do the same thing. They all play the same way. That's a great team. That's how you win. Consistency. So, Schroeder's been great. Schroeder's been great. All right, let's get to our last guy and we'll call it a night. Malik Beasley. 14 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 for 10 shooting overall, 4 of 6 from 3 in 22 minutes. So, guys, we got a little bit from everybody tonight. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in double figures. I love it. I love it. Beasley did what Beasley does, man. He continues to knock down shots. Dude is just a shot maker. I believe he is now back in first place in the league for threes made now. He was down. I checked when I was at the studio this afternoon. He was 2 behind Anthony Edwards. Edwards had 257. He had 255. And now he's got 4 more. So he's probably back in the lead again at 259. But he is first or second at worst in three-pointers made off the bench for 90% of the season. Crazy. Insane. Insane, man. So, yeah, I have nothing to say about Beasley other than the fact that I love what he's giving us on the defensive end. I said it last episode. I said it last show. He's moving his feet, man. Defensively, he is moving his feet. If you guys watch the game, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. He was moving his feet. It's so much easier to play defense with your hands. That's why we saw JD early in the season when he said he was playing soft, right? He was swiping at the ball, playing defense with his hands. getting called for fouls. It's so much easier to do that than to move your feet. That requires so much more energy on the body. So to see the best shooter in the league up to this point, arguably, this year, playing defense the way he is, exerting energy that he knows is going to make it just a little bit harder to knock down that shot on offense, exerting that defensive energy to play a little bit harder, right? It's going to take just as much energy. It's going to take down what would have been maybe a 50% three wide open to maybe 47%, because he had to exert that energy on defense. Those are the things that he's doing as the best shooter, arguably, in the league, as a vet. So if he's doing it, nobody on the team has any reason not to, because nobody can shoot that thing like him. If Cade's doing it, nobody on that team can have any reason not to, because nobody can get buckets like him. So that's the key, guys. The culture is set. The culture is set. Everybody's bought in because the leaders of this team have bought in to what coach is doing. That's why it's working. The leaders believe in the coach, and the rest of the guys believe in the leaders and the coach by extension. That's why you see everybody playing the same way. And because we're winning now, how can you argue it? Right? You can't argue it. That's why it's working so well, guys. That's why everybody's bought in. That's why. That's why everybody's locked in, and that's why we're winning so much, because the belief is there. They believe it. So, all right, that's the highlights of the box score. I know we're running a little bit long, but a lot to say because a lot happened in this game. So, as promised, who wants to take a look at the standings and see where we are after the night? Let me see if I can pull that up for you guys while we're here. Before I do that, Doug said, after games, where you go? Downtown Deuce, that is. Thanks. Like downtown? Usually go to like Chandelier. I'll be at Chandelier for 313 Day at the Ty Hopkins event. For those of you who are hip to that, this Thursday after the Wizards game, I will be at Chandelier after the game. If you guys are coming down there, let me know. Hit me up and we can meet up. Or at the game. If you want to hit at the game, if you want to meet up, let me know. By the way, really quickly, you guys go follow Isaiah Stewart's YouTube channel. He just created a YouTube channel of like I think it's going to be featuring like his daily life and stuff like that with his, with his son, Rafa, and all that stuff. Look pretty cool. So go check it out. I'll make sure to put the link in the description. But yeah, definitely go check out his YouTube channel. Go subscribe. He just created, I think, yesterday. And he's going to have some good content there. So go check him out. I think it'll be good for people to see him off the floor as well as on the floor. You know what I mean? It'll just be a good thing. All right. So let's get to the standings. And then we'll get out of here. Let me pull it up here and see what we got. See what it's looking like. Okay. So I just refreshed. Here we go. Here's the East. Perfect. Oh, actually, that's not updated yet. Let's try it again. It should be updated by now. Do we have? Yes, we do. All right. So here we go. So the Pistons, as of right now, let me got the streak in there. The Pistons, as of right now, are 37-29. That is a league best, or not league best, but team best, 8 wins over 500 this season, which is major. And we should get to 9 after the next game. But you look at the standings and look at the games back, guys. So, okay, so this tells me that the Pacers won. The Pacers won because the Bucks were up a game on the Pacers. So here's the thing, guys. This is the situation. Had the Bucks won, which they didn't, had the Bucks won, the Pacers would have dropped to 5, or to 6. They would have dropped to 6 and we would have went to 5. And they would have been 35-29, right? Which would have been worse than us because we're 37-29. They'd have been 35-29, but they won. So they stay at 5. So that could have seemed like it's a bad thing. Like, oh man, we could have had a chance to catch them. We're still in 6. It's okay because now, if anything happens, we can go to 4. We can go to 4 because now look, all 3 teams are tied now as far as games back from first place. All 3 teams are tied. They are only up by percentage points. Look at the win percentage. They're only up 2% on us. So we're virtually right now all tied for 4th or 6, however you want to look at it. So it's okay that we didn't move to 5, because had we moved to 5, that would have been okay, we're above the Pacers, but Milwaukee's still a game up on us. You see what I'm saying? So instead of Milwaukee being a game up on us, and we're being 5 and Indiana's 6, we're still where we are. Everybody's still right where they are. But now it's that much closer as far as to where we are. You see what I'm saying? So now if anything happens, we can move up. If those two teams lose their next game, we move to 4. If we win our next game before they play their next game, we move to 4. It's literally that close. Like, the Bucks and the Pacers are on thin ice when it comes to the Pistons. Both of them. That's the key. If the Bucks would have won, Pacers would have went to 6, we'd be 5, but the Bucks still had a 1-game cushion on us. Now we're all still in the same spot, but they're like right there. Thin ice. Anything can happen. So that's a good thing if you want the Pistons to move up, because the season doesn't end tomorrow. It's still plenty of games. So if we're all bunched together, all we need is one hot streak and we could be at 4. You know? So that, I just wanted to break that down, because some people are saying, oh man, we're still in 6. That's fine. The Bucks are closer to us too. But Emperor Yori says, look at the road records. Okay, I'm trying to make sure I see what you guys are saying too. Okay, look at the road records. Let's look at the road records. All right. So the road, wow. Yeah. Good point, bro. We have the 3rd best road record in the East, guys. The Pistons have the 3rd best road record in the East as a young team. That is impressive. You've got the Knicks at 20-12, and that's going to drop. You've got the Cavs. I'm sorry, the 4th, because the Boston's here too. My bad. 4th best team in the East on the road. My bad. So you got the Cavs at 25-6, which is crazy. The Celtics 24-7, which is also very, very, very good. The Knicks at 20-12, and we're at 19-15. Guys, we're going to have 20 road wins this season. Okay, guys. We're gonna have more road. we're gonna have way more road wins this season than total wins all season. We already have 5 more road wins than total wins all last season with 16 games to go. How insane is that? We already have 5 more road wins than total wins from last year with 16 games left, and we're young. This is year 1 with this entire team. Scary hours, guys. Scary hours, man. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of Knicks stuff too. The Knicks are going to lose. Yeah, the Knicks are going to lose more games. Okay, so you know what's interesting? Really quickly, 3 is not out of play. I'm going to be honest. 3 is not out of. I'm trying to lean in with y'all. I want to stay at 6 because I don't want to play the Pacers or the Bucks. But if we could get to 3, that would be insane. But here's the thing. We are, and this is why I say it's not out of play. We are currently 5 games back of the Celtics, right? The Bucks and Pacers are going to beat up on each other again tomorrow, or next game. So we could get to 4 or 5 pretty quickly. And here's the thing. Look at the games back. As of right now, we are 5 games back of the Knicks, right? 5 games back of the Knicks. As of right here, games back, 13-5 is them. We're at 18-5. We're closer to 3 than we are to 7. Isn't that crazy? We're 5.5 games ahead of the Hawks. And we're only 5 games back of the Knicks. So it's not completely out of play. It's not likely, but it's not out of play. There's still a possibility, especially with the Knicks losing Brunson. It's going to depend, I think, on how long he's out. It's going to depend on how long he's out. If he's out close to the end of the season, they may be in some trouble. They may be, because they had just lost a lot of games before they just broke their losing streak. I think they lost 4 or 5 straight. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see. If we get to 3, oh my gosh. After last season, if we get to 3 after last season, I don't care what Kenny Atkinson did with Cleveland Cavaliers. J.B. Bickerstaff has to be coach of the year if the Pistons get to 3 or 4. But 3? There's no way you can't give it to that man. If he goes from worst record of all time, like one of the worst records ever, to 3rd seed in the East, And it wasn't like he was a team that had the worst record last year. He came in to a team fresh out of water doing this. If he gets this team to the 3rd seed, there is no way they can't give it to this man. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. But long story short, Pistons are now tied with the Bucks and the Pacers for basically, it's technicality, but they're basically 4th. They're basically 4th right now. Percentage points wise, they're 2 points back. So this is going to be a very interesting week. This is why it's very important the Pistons win the games they're supposed to win. They're going to have to win they got to beat the Wizards again. They have to. And we'll look forward to the rest of the schedule after the Wizards game, because it does get a little tougher. After the Wizards, we got the Thunder. Right? We got the Thunder. So it's not going to be easy. We got to continue to win. Got to continue to win games. So, Stu, we need you to keep those texts down, because we're going to need you for this home stretch. So I'll leave it at that, guys. I think that's all I got for tonight, man. I know I went a little long, but there's a lot that we had to cover tonight. So do me a favor, guys. In the comments, let me know who you guys want to play in the first round. You want the Bucks? You want the Pacers? You want the Knicks? Those are going to be the 3 options, whether we get to 6, 5, 4, or 3. So let me know, and we will end it with that. I will see you guys this Thursday post-game, maybe a little bit late, because I'm going to 313 Day, and I will be at Chandelier after the game to meet with some people after the game downtown. So if you're downtown, hit me up. If you're going to Chandelier, if you're going to be LCA, let me know. And everybody be safe, of course. But like I said, Pistons are now 37-29, looking to go to a franchise or a team best 9 games over 500 next game. So we'll see what happens. Hope to see you guys in. And as always, I appreciate you guys always hanging with your boy. And until next time, Detroit versus everybody.